All right, guys. Hope you guys are awake. Ugh. All right, we're awake. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but like something I ate last night didn't really sit well with me. That's why I'm starting the stream a little bit later today. I got up last night and I got sick. I don't know what it was, dude. My stomach just ugh. Got up at like 3 a.m. Not fun, man. Not fun. I feel fine now. Could have just been acid reflux, I guess. I did eat some pretty rough food right before bed. Probably not a good idea for me. But I've been eating nothing but junk. I just got back home last night, so we just got home yesterday. And with that said, the SPY's breaking highs right now. SPY is over lifetime highs. If we put up the SPY here, SPY lifetime highs is 524s. We're at 525s right now in pre-market, so we're over lifetime highs. Nvidia is still over 900s, gapping up pretty strong today. I hope it continues. We're gonna do a poll. Let me know if you guys think it will continue. But yeah, it's a new month. March is over. We are now in April trading, so it's a new time. Oh man, yeah, guys, I've been nauseous all night. I don't know what it is, dude, either. I'm drinking coffee. I feel fine right now, but man, that sucked. That was rough. But I'm okay now. But man, could have been the crawfish I ate. I ate a lot of crawfish this weekend. Like a lot of crawfish, But again, I'm from Louisiana, so like that's just kind of what you do on Easter weekend. But yeah. I'm going to get some music playing, so hold on. See if I can find some. This music is not good. Hold on. Yeah, like the music they have here is like, hold on. Tell me what you guys think about this music. Hold on. It's definitely different. Oh, it's April Fool's Day today, bro. I didn't even realize it's April Fool's Day today. I really didn't even know. Today's April Fool's Day. I didn't even know today's April Fool's. So expect some trolls today. But we're here. All right, so today the market is open, right? Today's Monday. What do we have going on? We got S&P Manufacturing PMI at 945, ISM Manufacturing PMI at 10. Tomorrow we got the JOLTS report. Wednesday we've got ADP non-farm employment change services PMI. Powell speaking. Thursday we've got jobless claims, the Philly Fed index. Also, something that we have on Wednesday is the ADP employment change, non-farm employment change data at 8:15, services PMI and Powell. Thursday, we got jobless claims, the Philly Fed, President Harker speaking. And then Friday we got unemployment and payroll numbers. So just every day this week is busy, which is great. Next week we got CPI dropping on the 10th, and the Fed minutes report on Wednesday. So Thursday we got PPI, jobless claims for sentiment data, man. Well, that's good. We got some busy weeks here. We got Powell speaking again this week. Again, man. Powell I'm loving it. It's really good for my channel, to be honest. Like, Powell speaking a lot is great for my channel, but still. Yeah, let me know what you guys think of this music. I don't know how to feel about it. It's a beach, a reef. Do you think we get another quarter with rises in the market? I think it depends on what the Fed does here. I think the Fed starts cutting rates. We could, it could cause some volatility. We'll see.
I think every single company is at risk.
Yeah, sorry, I'm looking at
I made a peanut butter and
I think every single company is at risk.
I made a
I think every
sorry. I clicked on a short because it said something about prop firms, and then it started showing me other random videos. But yeah, basically there was some news in prop firms that happened. See, the problem though is the CFD offering Forex firms that are in trouble, right? Like, none of them are futures, and so, yeah. Oh, do we have Tesla delivery numbers again tomorrow? Let me see, man. I'm late. Yeah, so the delivery numbers for Tesla. Ugh. So first quarter was rough for Tesla this year. We do have Tesla delivery numbers showing up. Are you sure it's tomorrow? Regarding Tesla delivery numbers. Last time it was 425, was 475. Yeah, last quarter they said, quote, oh, sorry, maybe my stomach is still kind of, oh yeah, they said, quote, in 2024 our vehicle growth rate may be notably lower than the growth rate achieved in 23 as our teams work on the launch of the next-gen vehicle at Gigafactory, Texas. Tesla previously said they have suffered this year with a decline of 29% year to date. Weak delivery numbers could cause bigger drops in Tesla, which, I'm a big believer in. So if we drop big, I'll probably buy up some more, and you might wonder why. because I just think like Tesla's on the forefront of FSD. And I believe FSD is the future. I truly do believe FSD is the future. And again, maybe I'm wrong. I certainly could be wrong. But I don't think I am. I think Tesla's on the front of FSD. So without like some type of intervention there to stop them, I think Tesla's gonna be fine long term. Short term, these numbers could cause massive downward movements. I don't know, but I think long term, they're interesting. I think long term they're interesting. Yeah, so delivery numbers are due tomorrow. We'll see what that shows up as. We also have the JOLTS report tomorrow too, so tomorrow's pretty busy. What's up, Ro? Mark the Shark, I have money waiting for the 140s. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I feel too. Like, if we drop big, I'll probably just buy it up, Tesla's too established now to, like, really be in trouble, in my opinion. I mean, they always could be. Anything could happen, But yeah. Like, I don't think they're going to be in that much trouble, to be honest. Also, let's do a poll here. So we didn't do a poll yet. Let me see. To be honest. Yeah, non-farm payrolls, unemployment are on Friday. Non-farm employment changes are on Wednesday. We also have Jerome Powell speaking on Wednesday. We also have yeah, so we got a lot of stuff. We got JOLTS report tomorrow. We've got Tesla delivery numbers tomorrow. Today we have ISM manufacturing PMI data at 10. Tomorrow we got JOLTS report. We've got Tesla delivery numbers. Wednesday we've got ADP non-farm data, services PMI, and Powell speaking at noon. Thursday we got jobless claims and a bunch of Fed speakers. Friday we got non-farm payrolls and unemployment. Does the SPY break lifetime highs at the opening bell today? Yes or no? SPY's currently at lifetime high. So if the SPY holds their gains, lifetime highs on the SPY are 524s. SPY is currently at 525.40s or 524.61 is the previous lifetime high on the SPY. And so as long as the SPY just holds its gains leading into the opening bell, it'll break lifetime highs at the open. Yeah, earnings season starts again this month at Reef. So we have all the big earnings coming out, not just BOK. I think BOK will be interesting because of the Bitcoin ETF. But we've got a lot of earnings this week too. Or not this week, I'm sorry. This week we have no real big earnings. But like next week, I believe, is when earnings season really starts. I think it's actually the week after that, to be honest. This week's kind of slow. You can always tell earnings like that. I can teach you guys how to look at them in terms of schedule. Almost always the way they start is almost always the way the earnings season happens once every quarter, causes massive volatility in markets every quarter because it's when the biggest companies in the world report earnings. The way they're always scheduled is like you'll see big bank earnings first, right? So you look at like JP Morgan. If you want to know when earnings season really starts, look for like JP Morgan to start. JP Morgan drops theirs Friday the 12th, so next Friday, not the movie. And then you got like Goldman Sachs, GS, they drop their earnings April 15th, Then the first big company outside of banks that reports earnings is Tesla, right? Netflix, actually. So Netflix is usually first. April 18th is when Netflix drops. And then Tesla drops afterwards. Tesla is reporting on the 24th. So that is the schedule. Let me look this up. I hope they made it this year to where they don't have the biggest companies dropping all the big earnings on the same freaking day, which they did last time. I hated them for it. I hated them for it. And I'm just hoping they don't do that crap again where they're dropping all the biggest company earnings on the same freaking day and I can't cover them all. I mean, I can cover them all, but it's just hard to. Has Tesla not confirmed their earnings yet? They haven't. Oh, you jerks, man. None of the big companies have really confirmed their earnings yet, unfortunately. Amazon, Meta, Apple, none of them. Freaking jerks. May 2nd is when they say. Let's see. May 2nd. Yeah, none of them have confirmed it. I'm okay with that. I just hope they change the schedule up a little bit so that all the reports are not going to be on the same freaking day. Yeah, we got ISM PMI today, Shah. Netflix, $700. Is that Nvidia will go higher today or just pre-market opens in a high position and will come down? I mean, Nvidia's not anywhere close to highs. Nvidia's at 911s, but it's over 900, which is good. If it can hold over 900, that's good. It went up to the previous lifetime highs, 970s, rejected, and now it's sitting at about 903. So Nvidia's up there, but it's not close to lifetime highs currently. Snow. Oh man, we're really green on our portfolio today. I wonder why. Okay, we're green on gold. We're green on Alibaba. We're green on Apple. We're green on Tesla. We're green on Exxon. I mean, it's been a great year. Is the music too loud? Oh yeah, man. We drove back from Baton Rouge yesterday. Got home at like 8. I got up at like 2 a.m. Just nauseous, dude. We went to Sonic yesterday, so I don't know if it was like something weird at Sonic that we ate or what, but the rest of my family's okay, so maybe it's just me. But yeah, gold doing really well. Gold up to freaking 2260s. Let's see if that holds. Reddit still down at under $50. What are your predictions for Nvidia, please? Do you think all-time high is possible again? I mean, I think it's possible. I think it's probably at least going to try to make a test of 1,000 first before they split or something like that. Maybe not. I don't know. I could be wrong. Again, not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. Always make your own assessment. Trade responsibly. Remember, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm wildly wrong about everything I say. Do not copy me. Not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. You know, don't copy me, man. Yeah, understand that rule, basically, right there. Gotta switch this. There we go. Now we got this thing swirling. Yeah. Okay, tech. Now you're just saying the craziest thing you could ever say. So you're basically just a huge troll then, tech. Got it. Good day to you, sir. What's up, Rocky? GE split tomorrow? Yeah, now I mean, again, so tech says he lost money because of me. It's unfortunate that people troll like that because, again, number one, if you did lose money because of me, it's your own fault, right? Like, dude, like, my channel is literally called Beginner Trading. I literally tell people I have no idea what I'm talking about. Do not copy me. I'm not an investment professional. And again, my channel's literally called Beginner Trading. I also don't give any advice whatsoever about stocks. People ask me constantly, yo, what is going to happen with this? What is going to happen with this? My answer is always the same. I have no idea. I really don't know. And so, yeah, number one, he's almost certainly just some random dude creating fake accounts trying to troll. Number two, even if he wasn't, it's his own fault. Yeah, he said something else like completely unrelated a second ago, and then as soon as he saw me do that, he said that. So he's just trolling. It's all good. Fed announcement came like midday Thursday. Not sure how that'll play out today. Well, I think the market liked it. I think Powell was more dovish than people expected, and the market is gapping up a lot from that. So I think they liked it. I think the market liked it. What Powell said. He was optimistic, dovish. He wasn't super negative. I like the interviewer too. I thought the interviewer kind of grilled him a little bit, and I think that's good. I think he needs to be grilled a little bit, but I think he handled it well also, and he definitely said some optimistic, positive things about the market, So I don't think it was all bad. I think it was okay. And I think the market, if you look at the market this morning, they're reacting positively to it as well, He's definitely good. Doge Day 420. Yeah, like I know it's April Fool's Day, and so we might get more trolls. But I'm just gonna ban you for life if you say some like super negative stuff to me. I don't care what day it is. I've been up sick all night, bro. I've been throwing up and stuff, dude. Not feeling great. I don't have. Oh, never mind. I'm not gonna say what company I have, but I don't have them, so that's good. Coffee tastes good though. I did eat some of the best food I could ever eat though, bro. Like we ate so much good food in town. Like so much good food. Like, we ate freaking oysters, fried oysters. We ate hush puppies. We ate boudin balls. We ate boudin egg rolls. We ate crawfish. We ate fried shrimp. We ate crab. We ate some of the best food you could ever eat. And now I'm back in Texas. Texas is good. The barbecue here is good. But the seafood, it's all right. I'm not going to say it's bad. Like, relative to the rest of the country, Texas seafood's probably pretty good. But, wondering how will GE Split allocate the new stock to its GE holders? I don't know. I don't know much about the GE Split. GE is not really a company that I invest in a lot. Although I do remember when GE was very low. I remember when GE was like $35 or whatever. I remember when it was lower than that. Like, yeah. And so to see GE way up there at like 175s, 180s, I mean, I guess good for it. But it's not really a company that I watch personally, that I know super well. Oh, the tacos are awesome here, and I love Texas tacos. Like I love like Bigotes tacos, which is like a kind of like a fast food taco place. They're good. Street tacos here. You can go to any stand on the side of the road, and they're almost always good. But yeah, they got Bigotes here. They've got They've just got good food, man. Texas got good food. Their Cajun food's not, you know. But again, I can't really expect them to. They're not really a Cajun state, so it's all good. Market gonna crash hard this week. Freaking April Fool's Day, guys. Nvidia dipping down to 908s here. We'll see if it bounces. We're gonna day trade a little bit also here. There's a trade evade issue widespread right now on all different platforms. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the reasons I use Rhythmic, man. Like, Rhythmic's good. I could use Quant Tower. Lag is good. Okay, well, what do you think justifies the market crash? F says market's going to crash this hard this week. No joke. I'm listening, okay? I don't think you're right. You know, I hear this every week from a bunch of random bearish traders. And again, I'm not even here to disagree with you necessarily, but give me your thesis on why the market crashes this week, sir. Let's hear it. I'm down to listen, you know. Let's hear it. I disagree, but, you know, we'll go into that later. Can today's data affect the market a lot? It'll move markets a little bit. I mean, it's PMI data. It happens once a month. You know, ISM PMI data, manufacturing PMI data. It happens once a month. It's a pretty big release. I mean, it's not a huge release. The rest of the week is much bigger than today. So, like, today's the slowest day of the week, certainly, in terms of economic reports, just because tomorrow we have Tesla delivery numbers and JOLTS, the JOLTS job report, which is big, right? So, Tesla delivery and JOLTS reports tomorrow. Wednesday's the busiest day, probably, where we have non-farm employment change data. We've got Powell speaking. We've got ISM services PMI. We've got Governor Bowman speaking. Like, Wednesday's certainly the biggest day. Thursday is one of the slower days. We got jobless claims, though. So jobless claims, unemployment filings dropping on Thursday. Friday's probably either the biggest day or the second biggest day in terms of economic reports for sure. We got payroll data. We got non-farm payroll data and unemployment data dropping at 8:30 on Friday. We also have, a couple Fed speakers throughout the rest of the day. We need explains. Yeah, for sure. Somebody, again, I could say that the sky is falling, but if somebody doesn't give me an argument for it and they're just kind of like hoping, it's just confirmation bias. Like, they're hoping it happens because maybe they missed out on some investments and they didn't capitalize on the market running up this much, and so they want it to crash, and so they just say, yeah, the market's going to crash because they want that to happen. Confirmation bias is a powerful thing, but unless you give me a freaking argument for it, you know, I just think you're another bear in chat wanting the market to crash. And again, I'm going to tell you this. The bears have been wildly wrong over the last few years. Wildly freaking wrong, you know. Now, maybe they're right today. I don't know. But what's your argument, chat? Let me hear it. That's what I'm saying. The data is going to suck. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's an argument. You know, we'll see, bro. I mean, to be fair, the Dixie looks pretty iffy right now. Well, the Dixie's going to drop when the market drops. Like, you mean iffy in what way? Or when the market goes up? So, like, the Dixie typically has an inverse correlation with markets short term, but long term it moves with them. Yeah, so... Dixie over the last year is mostly flat, so yeah, but the Dixie mostly is just influenced by market weakness or strength in the equities market, futures market. You know, equities market rips up, the Dixie will move down, you know. What's expected April 17th after hours? What is? I can see a retracement of the bullish movement over the last couple of months, but no crash. Crash seems silly. Huh? Yeah, I mean, we could have a correction. I think the biggest argument for a crash is Nvidia. Nvidia is backing so much of the market. I think if Nvidia dumps fast, right? Like if Nvidia spirals out of control on the downside and traders start selling it in droves, I think there's an argument for a market crash or correction from that. I think that if Nvidia starts to dive down and people get scared, like what I mean by people get scared, like if Nvidia starts to drop, 10, 15, 20%, everybody that's held Nvidia for the last few months, or for the last few years, I mean, could get scared out of it and say, hey, this is crashing, let me get out of it, right? And that, if Nvidia drops down to say like $500, 550s, 400, that type of action could drag the whole stock market down to a massive correction or crash, right? Like that's the best crash argument I can give you right now. I think that's the conditions in which, if you think we're going to crash, I think that's the conditions in which we could. But also, I don't necessarily think that's going to happen, but that's just the crash argument, in my opinion. Like, I think if the market does crash, that's what it looks like this year, But again, I don't necessarily think it's going to happen. Yeah, that could happen, Cliff. Yeah, but even if Taiwan's invaded, like most of Nvidia is located in California, Cali. So I mean, it'll be certainly a negative thing for it, but not that negative, I think. Dude, my mom stayed at my house, bro. And, like, I love my mom. Like, I really do. Like, I love my mom. But, like, now my office smells like poop. Like, she has her dog, like Rosie's sister. And, I love my mom. But my office now smells like poop, and I'm wondering how that happened. Like, how does my office smell like poop right now? Like, my mom's one of those people, one of those dog owners that loves their dog so much, right? That loves their dog just so much, And again, I love my mom. Mom, if you're listening, I'm not throwing shade at you, okay? I appreciate you watching my house for me. But, my mom's one of those dog owners that their dog can never be uncomfortable ever, right? Like, their dog can never be uncomfortable ever. So they lack training, to be honest, because training requires conditioning. And sometimes conditioning needs to be uncomfortable, right? But not my mom's dog. They can't be uncomfortable, And I get loving a dog like that. I love dogs too. But now my office smells like freaking poop, and I'm wondering what dog was in here. It had to be Cindy. Ugh. Frustrating, man. I'm gonna get a deadbolt for this office. Yeah, most of Nvidia chips are made by Tyson Semiconductors. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's definitely not good for them, but I think they can outsource it. But who knows? They're Taiwan Semiconductors, not Tyson, sorry. I think it's going to be a very bullish week for stocks and crypto. Bitcoin Cash halving is this week, and Bitcoin halving coming up in a couple weeks. Yeah, in 20 days, Bitcoin halving supposed to be April 20th. We'll see how that goes. Where's Bitcoin at right now? I haven't even looked at Bitcoin. Bitcoin dipped a little bit. It's still over 70K though, or at least right around 70K now. At least Bitcoin futures are. Yeah, I mean, Nvidia's over 900s. It's gapping up again. I think most of the market. I think so. Friday, we had a lot of stuff drop, right? Remember, Friday we had PCE data come out. So we had personal consumption expenditure index data. So inflation data dropped Friday. We also had Jerome Powell speak. And the markets were closed for both of those things, right? Like Friday, PCE data came out. I want to say it came in as expected. I'm pretty sure it did, in fact. So PCE data, I'm pretty sure, was neutral, was as expected. I don't think it was, let me see. So yeah, PCE data came in at 0.3% versus 0.3% for core, year over year 2.8 versus 2.8. So yeah, it came in essentially as expected. The only one that didn't come in as expected was the month over month regular PCE, which came in a little bit lower than expected, which is good, right? So as expected, lower than expected, which is good. And then again, we also had Powell speak on Friday. And I think he said some optimistic things. And so I think what we're seeing right now, like the reason we're seeing gap ups in most things, Nvidia, the Q, the SPY, is because Powell said some optimistic, dovish things, which means like less restrictive monetary policy sentiment during this meeting that he had with the Kai Rosdale, whatever his name is. This interview that he had with Kai. You know, most of our parents were named like Russell and like very conventional names. You know, now we're starting to see some of those young names show up. Freaking Kai. You know, I love it. You know, Bitcoin went down 2% a few hours ago. Good morning. Did Powell say anything interesting during the speech? He was dovish. He was optimistic. He basically said, like, somebody asked him, one of the questions that was asked to Powell was, do you think we're going to hit a recession this year? And he basically said, almost certainly not. You know, almost certainly not. You know, which is great. You know, it's great. A lot of people have been saying we're going to hit a recession for years, and they were telling me I don't know anything about economics and I don't know anything about markets. And now that we're finally in a point where it's highly improbable that we're going to hit a recession, you know, now everybody else is kind of pivoting that way with me, you know, and that's good. I mean, Fed chair says focusing solely on inflation is no longer appropriate. Yeah, I mean, basically they're going to start cutting rates. I don't know when. I think June. I've been saying June pretty consistently for the last few months. I think June is when we're going to start cutting rates, but I don't know for sure. You know, I really don't know. When do you guys think we're going to cut rates? I guess is the question. Yeah, people waste too much time worrying about recessions. They lose gains. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the nature of it. You know, the way I look at it is how gullible is the trader? You know, like how gullible is the trader to news? You know, like, again, in the end, you're always going to have people yelling market crash, right? Some of them are really, really convincing, really persuasive, you know? So the question I always ask is how gullible is the trader? Is the trader somebody that is really influenced by bearish predictors? Because you're always going to have them out there, you know? And I think smart people understand that even if we do crash, you should not enter the market. You know, like one of the common themes of value investing or long-term, you know, investing in the market is like you can't always worry about market crashes. You can't always worry about drops, about entries, I guess is the easier way to put it. You can't always worry about entries. You know, you can't always worry about timing the perfect entry. Sometimes you just need to get in and you need to sit. You need a DCA if you're super worried about volatility, dollar cost average. When we drop, just add more. You know, if it's a healthy company. I'm not telling you to do that, but if it's a healthy enough company, I think that's a smart thing to do sometimes. But don't copy me, not an investment professional. You know, no idea what I'm talking about. But yeah, I think it depends on what it is. You shouldn't do this with penny stocks, of course. It should only be blue chip, healthy companies that you think are going to be around at 10 years. And it's incredibly important that you're strict with that. Yeah, timing the market versus time in the market, 100%. Well, entry is important if you are trying to short-term trade. But outside of that, like, again, I've always told people the same thing. Like, the biggest, most profound edge the stock market ever gives you is long-term value investing. You know, those are the people that are going to make the most easy percentage returns. And that's very clear if you look at data. You know, look at friggin' Warren Buffett. I mean, he did like acquisitions and a bunch of stuff, but still, you know, in one trading style, you're almost guaranteed to make money. Another trading style, 95% of people lose money. And again, I day trade. I day trade regularly. If you're gonna day trade, trade a funded account program. You know, don't put up thousands of dollars yourself trying to risk that. And again, I'm biased because I'm sponsored by a funded account program, so they pay me money. I'm biased, but I still think it's incredibly useful to just, I think it's incredibly useful to just limit your risk. You can still learn to day trade, but if you lose, your risk is very limited. You know, Apex has about 24 hours left of their 80% off sale. And in this sale, they give you a demo. They test your skill. If you could pass the test on the demo, the base one's a $25,000 demo. It's only $30 or $35 if you use my link and promo code BT, beginner trading, get you the max discount at all times. If you do that, it's it's about $35. And if you lose, if they're going to give you a 25K demo account, they're going to give you a profit target of $1,500. And if you can't hit that without hitting the max loss, which is $1,500, you only lose $35. It limits your risk. You still have some pressure, still teaches you how to trade under pressure. And if you're good enough to pass it, you get 25 grand in funding with a 90% split. So you're keeping most of your money once you're funded anyway, if you can get some withdrawals out. But your risk is profoundly limited, and that's why that's useful. And again, you got to understand, most day traders putting up thousands of dollars yourself are going to lose. Like, that's an inevitable thing for most traders, is that they're going to lose their first couple accounts. And I know every trader thinks they're going to be some outlier who, makes $1 billion, but it's just almost certainly not going to happen. And so limit your risk, try a funded account program. The futures market, you can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, gold. Patterns are very similar to blue chip patterns, but there's just no PDT rule in futures. And you can use these funded account programs to learn to day trade and limit your risk. Most Forex traders, in my opinion, should be trading futures, because futures is actually regulated here in the United States. You don't have to use a VPN and do a bunch of sketchy stuff. You can just trade futures. Trade a lot. I think you could even trade some currencies as well. So, I mean, again, be smart. But again, they're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased. Shameless plug. Understand all this stuff right here. I'm terrible, have no idea what I'm talking about, maybe wildly wrong about everything I say. Understand CFTC rule 4.41. And yeah, don't sue me. Too much on one side bullish, they can pull the rug. Institutions love trapping people. Yeah, but it depends on how long you're holding positions. If you're holding anything for more than a few years, like, I'm not saying you can't swing trade and make some money. What I'm saying is that at a certain point, it's easy to make money on the long term. It's easy to make money. You dollar cost average into healthy, high performing, low PE, high income producing companies. You dollar cost average over longer periods of time, and you sit on them for 5+ years. If you do that, you're almost guaranteed to make money. Yeah, I used to get involved and just go super hard into sizing. Like I would trade crazy big size. You realize pretty quickly it's not the right move. But again, most of the time you got like marketers taking huge trades, cherry picking their winners, you know. And so it's hard. Yeah, but I don't know if a rate cut's going to positively influence the market like that, though. I really don't. Like, I don't know if a rate cut's going to help the market. I think there's an argument for a rate cut not helping the market because of inflation fears. But again, I could be wrong there. I mean, I think Nvidia has been mostly sideways for the last few months, really back since March. The beginning of March, Nvidia has pushed sideways, and it hasn't really moved since. I think $1,000 is kind of the big milestone level that most traders are watching. And so, and $900 is kind of a strength sign. If it can hold over 900, that's great. If it can't, you know, I think it could start to turn a little bit more, but we'll see. I think it's still got a lot of time. You know, we do have Nvidia earnings showing up this year, within the next couple months. You know, so Nvidia earnings come out in May, mid-May. So at the end of earnings season, Nvidia earnings drop, and that could be a big thing. So. Recessions don't happen when everyone's prepping for it. CNBC will keep retail on the wrong side of the trade for eternity. It's time to get defensive. I mean, maybe, you know. But again, like, recessions are very easy to see coming. You know, they're not market crashes, right? Recessions are pretty transparent in what happens. Like, you can see GDP turn. You know, you can see unemployment get higher. You know, right now, the problem is not anywhere near a recession, and I don't think people necessarily understand what a recession is just by your comment, Jay. Listen, it's all good, brother. I appreciate the support, right? But right now, Nvidia going up 10 times in a year doesn't have anything to really do with a recession. You know, in fact, there's two different sides of it, brother. You know, and again, I'm not trying maybe jumping a little bit here, but I think, like, okay, a recession is when you have two consecutive losing GDP quarters, and the market and the economy, like, strength and weakness can happen on both sides, right? Like, one side fears an economic slowdown, right? Like, that's a recession. That's a depression, which is specifically too little spending, right? Like, too little spending means recession, depression risks, you know? And so that's when the Fed will be dovish. Too much spending is what gets us to where we currently are now, which is not a recession, certainly not a recession. You know, GDP growth was higher than expected last week, you know, so certainly not a recession right now. You know what I mean? And so there's two different sides of it. One side is too little spending, right? Again, that's recession, that's depression risks. Right now, we're on the other side of that spectrum. We're on the way other side of that, where we have had too much spending to the point in which over the last year, the Federal Reserve has said that the labor market was too strong. Like, the job market was too strong. We've had too much spending. Inflation spiked up a few years ago to almost 9%. And inflation is still at 3%. Spending is still there. GDP growth is still pretty strong. And, like, the risks of the economy right now are not anywhere near a recession. or depression. It's just not there. We're just not there, you know, and that doesn't have anything to do with Nvidia or anything like that. The Fed right now is actually in a period where of hawkishness, where they're trying to keep interest rates high through something called quantitative tightening, and which essentially means that they are trying to reduce their balance sheet, let their bond holdings mature and run off, and keep interest rates high, you know. And they've been like that for a long time now, but the Fed only behaves that way not when we have recession or depression risks, but when we have inflation risks, like prices are too high, like too much spending is going on, right? And so there's different sides of the spectrum here in terms of the economy. Right now, we're nowhere near a recession or a depression. We're just nowhere near that, you know. And again, the people that come out and say we are typically are like watching the news a lot, and I see you mentioned CNBC. You know, and the news's job is to make you think, hey, the market is just, it's the end of the world right now. The sky is falling. And again, that might be true, but it's not from a recession risk, certainly, right? Like right now, the sky might be falling because Nvidia is super extended on the upside, right? You know, that's true. It also might be more so like inflation is the risk right now, like too much spending. You know, the opposite of a recession is the problem right now. Too many people are spending. And that's causing prices to stay really, really high, especially after 2020, where we had the pandemic, and that's where we had the real recession, depression risks with the pandemic, and then, you know, stimulus checks, quantitative easing, you know, Fed came in and basically printed a bunch of money. It's just, it's really nuanced, but yeah, I guess the overarching point is like we are nowhere near a recession or depression right now, and I think that's very clear, regardless what the news says. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think June is when we're going to start cutting rates. You know, but I don't think I disagree with rate cuts in general right now. I don't think we should cut rates. I think we should keep interest rates high for a little bit. And I know the Fed and you know, everybody gets a lot of pressure from like real estate professionals who want, like, if you want, again, I always say this, if you want to know when interest rates are going to actually go down, right? Like mortgage rates, loans, auto financing, if you want to know when those interest rates are going to start to dip, wait for the Fed to announce they've ended quantitative tightening, or they're going to end quantitative tightening, however they announce it. You know, wait for rate cuts to start to happen. That'll slowly trickle into rates, and that'll eventually start. They'll eventually start coming back down. The Fed has said that that's probably going to happen this year or next year. So interest rates are still high right now because, again, when they keep interest rates high, people stop spending as much, right? So if spending is out of control, which is, again, the opposite of a recession, they'll keep interest rates high to discourage that spending, because when spending is discouraged and people stop, businesses low prices to compensate for it, right? But yeah. Yeah, I mean, correction is certainly possible. I could agree that Nvidia is up a lot, and I think people come here all the time telling me the sky is going to fall, and I agree in that regard that, like, the biggest risks for a market crash right now is Nvidia pulling back like to $500, $400. You know, I think if that happens, if it spirals out of control, people start getting nervous and selling quickly for Nvidia. The rest of the market has been weighted on Nvidia, and so if Nvidia starts to turn and traders get emotional and sell, that could drag markets down very quickly and cause a market crash, right? I think that's the best argument for a crash anytime soon. And I don't necessarily think that's going to happen, but it could also be confirmation bias. Like, I don't want that to happen, you know, but it could happen. And I think that's the best argument for it right now. Again, I'm not saying it's going to happen. Everybody at home, I don't really know, but I think that's the best argument for it happening is Nvidia turning. Yeah, maybe. What's up, Daphne? Dude, so
Back in Minute Maid Park.
sorry, watching this Astros thing. Dude, I didn't even realize the Astros had Josh Hader this year, dude. Hader hadn't been looking that good the last few years, though, man. And so I'm not gonna let you guys ruin it. I didn't actually see this. I got home late last night. I wasn't able to watch Yankees versus Astros. But again, Hader, I don't know how he's done this year. I know he's probably pretty cheap relative to what he could be in price, just because he hadn't been. He's been. I mean, I know they changed the rules. Whew. That rising fastball, man. LSU lost. You know, watch that baseball game. All right, chat. We do have the SPY pull it back a little bit. Nvidia bouncing back up to the 200 EMA. We'll see if that level holds. Yeah, today we do have manufacturing data coming out today. Not a huge release, but somewhat big. We'll see what happens. Watching Reddit. Reddit's still under 50 bucks. I don't know if I like this music. Yeah. What's up, Sam? Wait, is today a half day in markets? Hold on. No, it's not a holiday today. So, markets are open all day, I'm pretty sure, right? If I'm wrong, y'all correct me. That's a good out. All right, so Nvidia is moving up a little bit here, chat. So Nvidia is bouncing up some. Hater's definitely putting some freaking sticky stuff on the ball when he puts his hand over his ear. He's definitely throwing some freaking pine tar on that thing or something. Full day. Yeah, today's a full day. So it's open most of the day today. The stock market's open at the normal time. It's now 7:40 in the morning. Market time. So. All right, we're at almost 907s for Nvidia. So Nvidia bounced it back a little bit. I think the whole market's still propped up on Nvidia for the most part, although it has been moving a little bit more with like Apple. Apple has been influencing the market. Some Tesla as well, been moving up a lot. Microsoft also. You know, and again, Tesla's up pretty decently today. Still under 180s though, so not really in a good spot. So Hater got the K. That was a strike. Blue. Anyways, Nvidia up to 907s almost. Let's put another chart up here. So again, we can look at Tesla. Here's Tesla. Tesla down at 176. So Tesla had a pretty good day up to like 178. They have delivery numbers that drop tomorrow. So again, that might be an influence. Yeah, I know the pitch clock is definitely throwing people off this year. Well, the pitchers specifically. But at the same time, man, the pitchers used to just stall like crazy. So the pitch clock, I like that rule. I know the pitchers hate it, but like I liked that rule. I thought it was necessary because they were just stalling too much. Juan Soto, man. I forgot he was on the Yankees. Ooh, that's not good. I think Tesla has a bright future. I think Tesla's on the forefront of full self-driving. And so I'm not sure when FSD is going to be fully, like I know it's out now, but I'm talking about like fully adopted infrastructure. I don't know when that's going to be. I don't know when that's going to be, but I think Tesla's on the front of that. And I think if they can stay in that position, they'll be fine. They're going to do well if they could stay on the forefront of FSD. It just depends on whether the big boy automobile brands can get it quickly and what happens with that. Yeah, I don't think Starlink's gonna IPO. I don't think they're going to. I wouldn't if I was them. You get more. You get more drama if if you're a public company, you get more drama. You earn more. Your earning power's, definitely higher, but definitely more drama, harder. There's like a risk reward. Is that a sketchy looking penny stock somehow guilty? Let's see. Oh, this is super sketchy. I would like this. These are super low liquidity, low float stocks. Most of these companies are going to fail. I wouldn't invest in them. Almost all penny stocks have a bunch of sensationalized marketing. If you look at the long-term chart, like even just a yearly chart looks horrible. A weekly chart looks terrible for this stock. Just a terrible looking chart for this. So, yeah. I think a lot of new traders get talked into buying up really bad penny stocks. They think they have to. they think somehow like most stocks start off as penny stocks, so they're going to find some good ones. Again, most stocks do not start off as penny stocks. Most healthy companies, that is, don't start off as penny stocks. Most of them actually start off immediately. Like, again, you saw Reddit this week, right? Here's Reddit. Reddit immediately IPO'd and is at $50 a share. You know, it's not $3, $2, $1. So the companies that end up IPOing, or the companies that are penny stocks, usually remain penny stocks. They're almost always never gonna be anything, and the only people that really buy them are really small account traders hoping to get rich off of them, and you know, that's just almost never gonna happen. I'm not saying it's never happened before, but it's not super probable to happen, you know. We'll see what Nvidia does today. Again, today's the slowest day of the week. We do have ISM data coming out, though. We do have pretty big ISM data coming out. I got the new Tesla Y, and that free FSD on it's great, but there's no way in the world I'm paying $12K for that. Yeah, I feel you. I think it depends on if you can use it. It depends on how adopted it is, I think. Like if $12,000 is the difference between allowing your car to completely drive itself for you without ever needing to even be in the driver's seat, I think that's different, and I think a lot of people are going to be willing to pay $12K for it. I think if it's not, and again, that's the FSD that I'm talking about really being adopted, is like you don't even need to be in the front seat anymore. You know, I think when that starts to come out and you have literal drive, I know we have driverless cars now, but I think in the future it's going to be obviously much bigger. And I think if Tesla can remain on the front of that, they're going to be fine. You know, they might have some volatility short term though. You know, it's going to move in waves. You know, really, it's going to move in waves. So, like, Tesla got big. You know, in my area, I see a lot of people in Teslas. I see a lot of Teslas driving around. So, Tesla's big. You know, people are buying them for sure. Now, the numbers might slow down. People are going to argue whether it's still growth or not. And, you know, the Cybertruck, obviously, is what caused most of these drops. Although the Cybertruck's cool. I saw a white Cybertruck in my area. My wife actually changed her tune. My wife originally was like, oh, I don't like the Cybertruck. It's ugly. She said she saw a couple in person. She saw one at my kid's school, and she saw the white one in the car with us. We kind of, you know, looked at it. And she changed her tune. She said it's actually a kind of impressive looking car, you know. Like a freaking tank, she said. And, yeah, I mean, they're cool. They're cool. I don't know. I see a lot of Rivians in my area too. So like I do see a lot of Rivians driving around. Like I really do. I see a bunch of Rivians. Rivians are cool. I'm not against them necessarily. I think a lot of, again, I say it all the time, but I think a lot of these up and coming EV brands are going to struggle because you just don't have enough people that want to buy them. I think the legacy automotive brands like Toyota, Mercedes, you know, Lexus, whatever, are going to, you know, I think they are going to, they're going to be fine with EVs. I think the future in those areas are hybrids. I think where they're electric to a certain point, and then they are gas powered longer term, or you know, I think that makes sense. And I've seen a lot of those lately too. Please tell me Jordan hits a freaking walk-off. Oh my gosh, it was so close. We lost. Boo. That sucks. I honestly think hybrids are the answer. Yeah, I think that's the future, you know. Yeah, again, markets rip it up a little bit today. Powell spoke Friday. PCE data came out for Friday. Markets are going nuts. They're not up that much. They're up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, the Fed speaks. The Fed interviews probably what dragged the market up, I think. If Tesla hits 20K on market, I might be interested. What do you mean? 20K what? In terms of price? Or you mean stock price? Yeah, I mean, Hybrids probably. I mean, a lot of people are talking about hydrogen now. Paying $60K for a Tesla. I think most new cars are $60K though. Like, look, maybe I don't know. It's hard. Let me. I think paying. I'm trying to think of the easiest way to say what I'm trying to say. I think paying $60K is pretty standard for a vehicle right now. Even $100K. Like $100K used to be like a freaking supercar. Now you ain't getting a supercar for $100. You know, you're just not about to get a supercar for $100K anymore, unfortunately. And so it really is something where, you know, if you want a nice car, you're going to have to pay, you know, you're going to have to pay over 40. You're not going to be able to get, the only cars you're going to get for 40 are going to be kind of, for lack of a better word, off-brand cars. Like, you know. Yeah, and you know a lot of the big oil companies don't like EV. You know, this is something that's very obvious. Like the big oil companies do not like EV. You know, obviously, they're putting out a lot of negative press about EV, of course, and some people are just mirroring what the big oil companies want. Big oil runs the freaking world too, and so a lot of them are putting out all this negative stuff about EVs. But I think when you zoom out and you look at efficiency, EVs are obviously better. Mileage, EVs are obviously better for the most part, with some arguments against it. Emissions, EVs are better. In terms of production, you know, lithium production's not good. So in terms of production, EVs probably lose that. But in terms of meshing with technology, EVs beat that, of course. Speed, EVs beat that. And so efficiency is there for EVs, and I think they're just better vehicles when you look at them objectively. And I know a lot of people are reluctant to change. I know big oil doesn't like EVs, and so again, they put out a bunch of negative stuff. But I think they're the future. And I think anytime you have a technology, you know, anytime you have evolution in technology, people get weird. People don't like change, you know. Carriage, people were probably upset about the automobile, saying it would never work, and, you know, same thing was said about the internet, same thing was said about AI, you know, same thing's being said about EV. Eventually, though, you're going to have hiccups when you're building a technology. It's normal to have hiccups. That's standard. Eventually, they're going to get better and better, though. And so that's what people have to understand. You know, we'll see what EVs are around, though, when it happens. I'm not sure. Did you notice Palantir drop? Any particular reason? I'm in Palantir right now. Yeah, Palantir is down. Down at 22s. Yeah, I didn't notice they dropped that much. But they've mostly, like, if you put up a longer term chart with Palantir, they've mostly been flat though. Like, look. So here's the chart. They've mostly just been sideways. We see a lot of tech stocks like this right now, to be honest. Like, a lot of tech is just kind of, you know, you put a box around it. If you pull up like Nvidia's chart looks like this, really. So again, people have been saying every Nvidia dip, people are like, it's the end of the world. But I think when you look at Nvidia, it's mostly been sideways since the beginning of March. You know, this is Nvidia's like actual chart. So, you know, like it's just squarish. And again, the top of the range is the interesting part to see when we're going to break the top. Again, the SPY, if the SPY holds most of these gains, again, it's getting pretty close. So the lifetime high on the SPY is 524.61. SPY is currently at 524.90. And so if the SPY hold over this is the lifetime high level on the SPY. So if the SPY can hold over that, it's going to break lifetime highs at the opening bell. If not, you know, we'll see. But this is the lifetime high level for the SPY to break. If the SPY can hold over this, if it dips below this prior to the opening bell, then it will technically not be over lifetime highs, and it will never have broken it. So pre-market doesn't count in terms of lifetime highs. It only counts during actual market hours, 9:30 to 4. So that's what we got to watch for the S&P, the SPY. I see somebody say EVs are garbage, give it up. It's as if we're all too dumb to understand EVs, but we'll come around eventually from people who don't know anything about cars. Very condescending. Yeah, but nothing you said is an argument, you know. It just seems emotional. No offense. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm open to hearing the argument for it. Again, I like gas powered cars. Like, I was always like a tuner car guy, like growing up. You know, so I had like JDM cars and fixed them up and raced them when I was young. I love cars, you know. I just bought a twin turbo V8. So I love cars, internal combustion engines, you know. But again, like, people get emotional, and this is my exact point, is that like people get emotional because, again, none of these are arguments against it. Like, the lithium argument is certainly one of them, but outside, I'm not really hearing anything but EVs are garbage, bruh. Like, okay, well, in what way? You know, explain it then. And I'm open to hearing about it, you know. I think EVs, the biggest selling point for EVs is that they mesh with technology well. You know, they have full self-driving. Like, they literally drive themselves to a certain point. And I think the older population fears technology growth. Yeah. 100%. I also think big oil runs the world. You know, I think big oil runs the world and puts out a lot of negative stuff about EVs. But I think EVs are the future. And again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're not the future. I don't freaking know. Yeah, I'm not going to be too specific about what I got, but my Tesla drove to and from the movies this weekend, and it parks itself. Yeah. Again, SPY's still coming back down. Unfortunately, the SPY might not break lifetime highs at the open. We'll see, though. It's getting close. I live in Cape Breton, and they ban charging stations. Yeah, but I don't necessarily think isolating Cape Breton as the pinnacle of society and trends is the right move. You know. Right, Nick, and I think that's the future of tech. Yeah, I mean, I'm not judging you if you like conventional cars. Again, I like conventional cars. Like, I don't have an EV, you know? Like I said, we've got a twin-turbo V8 car. I'm not going to say what kind it is. I don't want people to know what kind of car I have, to be honest. But, again, I'm not against internal combustion engines. I like them, you know? I just think that it's very clear EVs are the future of car technology, and I think that that's very obvious. Despite what people want, you know, I think they mesh the best with tech. I think over time I think what's going to happen is that people are going to have full self-driving. The infrastructure is going to build, and then when that starts to happen, and people start to see cars driving themselves, see cars picking people up driving themselves, I think over time they're going to want to experience that, and then it's going to snowball and snowball and snowball over time. Maybe I'm wrong though. I could be wrong. Again, I certainly could be wrong. A really nuanced sector for sure. But yeah, it's all good. It's all love here. Look at the SPY, guys. So the SPY just dipped all the way under that level. So the SPY technically not breaking lifetime highs right now. If it opened up where it is now, it wouldn't be breaking lifetime highs. Nvidia pulling all the way back to 904s. 904s. We're gonna get ready to trade a little bit. But Nvidia's starting to dip. We got the Q here. We could also look at gold. Let's see if there's any news that affected this. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see any news. Do y'all see any news? Anything happen major? Chat. I'm looking at Apple. Apple looks fine. Amazon. Meta. Google. They all look good. AMD. AMD's down. Could be EVs dropping, but AMD's dipping a lot. Is the Q down this much as well as the SPY? Q's still pretty green. Tech's still pretty green. Yeah, I'm still looking. Got here. Do we have any important economic stuff this week? Yeah, we got a lot of economic stuff. Today we've got ISM manufacturing PMI data. Tomorrow we got the JOLTS report, Tesla delivery numbers. Wednesday we have non-farm employment, Powell speaking, as well as a bunch of other Fed speakers. Thursday we got jobless claims. Friday we've got non-farm payrolls and unemployment data. So busy day all around this week. Hybrids are what we're seeing a lot now. Hybrids are probably a compromise for both, but a lot of people. I see a lot of hybrids driving around. Intel dipping. Yeah, I'm trying to see what stock. Is there a stock dragging the market down? I see the whole market's starting to turn, but I'm not sure what it really is and why it's dipping. AMD's down a lot over the last 20 minutes or so, but it's also pretty slow in pre-market, so it's kind of big jumps from a lack of liquidity. Yeah, next week we got CPI and PPI data as well. It's a pretty busy few weeks here, which is great, and then we have earnings season starting afterwards. So again, we got CPI, PPI next week, and then the following week we got earnings seasons. We got bank earnings. Eventually we're going to have Tesla earnings, Apple earnings, Amazon earnings coming out. That's going to influence markets a lot too. So it'll be a busy month, good month. CPI is next Tuesday. I'm pretty sure CPI is next Tuesday. It's next Wednesday, April 10th is when CPI is. I think the ironic part is people who buy Teslas keep buying them, and people who are the strongest against EVs have never driven one. Yeah. Again, like, there's a lot of good and bad marketing out there. You know, big oil runs the world. They're going to certainly recognize EV as a threat to them. You know, and so they don't like EVs. They don't want EVs to get big. I think that's very clear. And again, that is you're gonna hear some people mimic that type of thing because big oil runs the world. You know. Gold is pumping, market's gonna crash. I don't know, man. Maybe. I don't think we do, but gold's dipping down a little bit. Again, though, like, people have to understand, I think a lot of day traders watch the market, chat. You know, and I think a lot of day traders watch the market. Let me fix this. This is a glitchy candle. Oh. Is this a candle or is it just a random? Anyways, so I think, oh, this is just a random candle. Okay, let me get rid of this. There we go. All right, so anyways, people keep telling me the market's gonna crash, right? Or like every little baby drop, they tell me the market's gonna crash, but this is the market today. We're green. Again, this is the market this year. We're green. For the market to crash, we're gonna have to come, like, let's go by like the largest, let's go by the medium percentage for a crash, which is about 20%. 20-25% people are gonna call it a market crash. Right, so let's take a look. 450, 20% of that is about $90. So this would be, a crash would be if we dropped from 450s down to 360, right? So 360 would be right around here. You know, and the ironic part is that people have been so bearish. Like, the ironic part is that even if we do crash, right, so drop down to 360, a lot of people have been telling me the market was going to crash here at 340s. You know, during this period of time, everybody was yelling the market's going to crash, right? So again, I talked about this last week, but the ironic part is that even if we do drop all the way down to 360s for a 20% drop, you know, we're still going to be above where a lot of people said we would crash, you know? And so again, a lot of people are going to come out saying I told you so if the market does dip like that, but we're still going to be above where they said it would crash, you know? And I think that's the point where if you get too bearish to where you never make a move in the market, where you don't invest in anything, you don't put your money in anything, you don't let your money work for you because you're so afraid of a market crashing every other day, you're going to lose so much money over time in what you would have made, because again, eventually the market's going to push up to a point in which even if it does correct, it's still going to be over where you should have entered in the first place, right? And so that's the thing people have to understand. Like, the biggest edge is long term. Markets are going to move up long term. Short term, sure, we might have crashes, we might have corrections, we might have pullbacks, but just DCA into stuff. Again, I'm not telling you what to do, not an investment professional. I might be wildly wrong about anything I say. Have no idea what I'm talking about here, chat, so don't sue me. Not an investment professional, but yeah. I guess the point is just don't be so afraid of market crashes that you never invest. Yeah, Jason. Doesn't the market usually crash in response to some major event like pandemic or war? No, not necessarily. Market mostly crashes from mania. Realistically, that's what happened in 1929. It's what happened in 2000. 2008 was a little bit different. 2008 was a macroeconomic event mostly, but it was also kind of like mortgage mania. Like mortgages were too. So there's usually a mania and like an extension leading into the crash, right? In 2008, it was mortgages. Bad mortgages propped up the market. In 2000, it was the internet companies. Even though the internet was a wildly successful technology in hindsight, a lot of internet companies went up way too much in the 90s, and that led to the 2000 crash, where we dropped massively and corrected and had a big bear market from that. 1987, I can't remember exactly what led to 1987, but that was a very quick crash. And then, yeah. So, yeah. 2020 wasn't really a crash. It depends on how you look at it. Like, we can look at it, but it wasn't really one. You know, it was a correction, a bear market. You know, we dropped from... In 2021, I mean, we dropped from 400. I mean, it was actually a pretty big correction, but it wasn't a crash because we didn't quick. Like, a crash is like, boom, you know? This was a bear market that lasted for, you know, a long time. So, yeah, but we dropped from 400s down to 260s. It's a pretty big percentage drop, you know, bear market. But again, you know, I can't say what's going to happen into the future, right? Like, I really can't. I don't know what's going to happen into the future. I can't say what's going to happen. What I will say is that what I like to do in these moments, like, I was buying up stuff in this downtrend. I was averaging into what I considered healthy companies that were just overreacted to. Like, I bought up United Airlines, I bought up MGM, I bought up a bunch of stuff and made a lot of money from it, to be honest, in this period of time. So, you know, we got some big dips, some big drops. Oh wait, is this the right one? Let me see. Yeah, so we got some big pullbacks in this period of time, but we were able to capitalize on it. Same thing with 2020. I mean, 2020 we got, or no, I'm sorry, 2020 is where I bought into a lot of stuff. I bought into a bunch of stuff there as well. We'll talk about that in a second. I bought into like Disney, but here is 2020. This was more of like a regular crash, but it wasn't a big one. Here, let me see. And prices have changed so much. So yeah, we dropped from 235s to, you know, 235s down to 170 or so. So we dropped 27%. So yeah, I guess we did crash a little bit in 2020. And I guess the question you have to ask yourself, we also had a big correction. It's like, how many crashes or corrections are we going to get back to back to back? You know, we're not going to crash every other year on average. Like, in terms of history of the stock market, it's not something that's super probable. Anything could happen, but I don't know. I think what you see a lot, like, I think when you look at 2008, you know, if you look at 2008, you know, if you look at 2008 here, typically what you get after crashes is you get big crashes, and then you get bull markets for longer periods of time. Like, you get rebounds, bull markets, you know, kind of coming back from what we did in the crash. And this is pretty typical for every major one. The biggest one was 2000. I would say the biggest bear market we got was 2000. That was the largest one, the one that was, you know, we really still didn't rebound from that up until, and it's probably better to look at the SPY, the S&P really. I'll put up the S&P. It took a long time to rebound from 2000. You know, like, we were only just now rebounding from 2008 when we crashed again. So, but most of them aren't like that. So if you look at like 1987, this little guy right here, typically, again, the market rebounds and it continues up. You know, bull market for the next while after crashes. You know, and again, you can kind of see that paralleled in this current market where You know, we had a couple big red crashes or corrections or bear markets, and now we're finally starting to kind of reel back from that. And I'm not saying we're going to go straight up. I really don't know. But, you know, we could get a couple more bull years. So we'll see. Of course, the bears are going to say, nah. Right, for sure, Nick. I don't think it was a terrible crash. For S&P, maybe, but went down 37%. What is it? DJI. I'm trying to remember. I think I can look at it with this. So here's the Dow. Yeah, I don't really watch the Dow very much, but talk about 2007. Yeah, 2007 the Dow dropped a lot. Mostly from real estate stuff though. But again, even the Dow, like the Dow dipped big here. I mean, look, the Dow dropped heavy. But again, by 2012, business as usual, we were just pumping up again, you know. So you see very similar things in 2020, 2008. So I don't know. Again, I guess my point is like we don't have to crash. I think again, I'll talk about it again. I'm going to say it again. The argument for a crash is simple. Nvidia's up a lot. If Nvidia starts to correct down to $400 or $500 and people start to get scared, that's where we could get a crash. You know, Nvidia props up the whole market. It has for the last year. And so if Nvidia corrects, you know, that's the crash argument that I see personally. And again, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. I don't freaking know. Why would a growing company correct? I mean, again, I'll use the internet. I'm not saying it happens, and I hope it doesn't happen, to be honest. And I don't necessarily think it will, right? So just to clarify, I don't necessarily think it's going to happen. I think it could happen. I don't necessarily think it will. I think it could happen, though. Like an example of it is the internet in 2000. The internet was still very justifiable as a technology in terms of pricing in 2000, you know, and over time we saw that. Like we saw internet companies thrive and the internet grow. But even with the internet growing in that way, 2000 a little bit too much. Stuff was up a little bit too much, and not just that, but we had a big traders got scared. You know, which is what most happens with most crashes is people get scared, they start selling, right? Even if some of the underlying companies or assets are healthy, people get scared. And I think you saw that in 1987. You see it in the mortgage crisis. You see it in, you know, a lot of stuff. People get scared. You see it in 2020, the 2020, you know, flash crash we got. So people get scared. And I think if Nvidia starts to really correct fast, people might get scared and they might sell. I don't want it to happen. I don't think it's necessarily going to happen. But I think it could. You know, people get scared of holding a crashing stock is what they get scared of. Well, yeah, well, somebody said I really thought the 2020 crash was going to be much worse. Well, yeah, well, what happened with the Federal Reserve? Like a lot of people talk about the Fed, and I'm not saying you specifically, but what I'm saying is like the Federal Reserve came in and stepped in, and what they did, like if too little people are spending in the economy, right? Like if too little people are spending in the economy, the Federal Reserve steps in and they reduce interest rates. They do what's called quantitative easing, which means they step in, they expand their balance sheet, they inject liquidity into the markets and allow banks to lower interest rates to consumers. And in 2020, the Fed did that. They stepped in, they brought interest rates down. And this allowed banks to, again, lower interest rates to consumers. It allowed consumers to spend more. So when interest rates are almost zero, consumers spend a lot more than they do when interest rates are really freaking high like they are now. And so in periods of economic risk, the Federal Reserve steps in, reduces interest rates through quantitative easing, and essentially money printing is what it is, and that stimulates spending in the economy. And that's what happened in 2020. The Fed stepped in, they did stimulus checks, they also did quantitative easing and money printing, and they brought interest rates down to damn near zero. And that allowed consumers to spend more money on stocks. It allowed consumers to spend more money on a lot of things, and ultimately helped prop up the market in that time frame. And that's kind of what happened. That's why 2020 wasn't as bad as it could have been, because the Fed stepped in and did a bunch of stuff. And the Fed gets some hate, and I get it. Like, I really do get it, But yeah. I don't think Nvidia is going to go that low. I hope it doesn't. I'm just saying, that's like, I think a lot of people throw crash around, and again, typically retail traders overpredict crashes because most of them just missed out on the latest bull run, and they're kind of upset about it, so they're talking about a market crash every other day. So we hear a lot of market crash predictions here, and I'm just kind of throwing out, if we do crash, if we did crash, that's what I would think it would look like, is something like that. I don't think we're anywhere near a recession or a depression risk right now. If anything, we're on the other side with too much spending and high inflation. But yeah, I think who knows? But I think if we're gonna crash, that's what it's gonna look like. But again, I don't necessarily think it's gonna happen. AMD back up. It's at 180.60s, so AMD rising back up. Let's see if Nvidia can bounce back with it and drag everything else up. Again, the SPY's still right around lifetime highs. And again, maybe market open with Jerome Powell speaking on Friday with PCE data, inflation data coming in. Maybe the market's happy and we see some runs at the opening bell, and we're just kind of waiting for some liquidity to show up. Any news in 2 minutes? No. Yeah, no 8:30 news today. Today we have ISM Manufacturing PMI at 9:45 is what we got. Powell was mostly bullish, I would say. Mostly optimistic and bullish, Larry. But again, it varies. But I would say it was mostly bullish. He did not say an 85% crash is coming. Did not say a crash is coming. He was mostly bullish, optimistic. Data was flat, Hector. It was mostly neutral. Nothing crazy. I think PCE data came in as expected almost universally, except for a couple month-over-month projections coming in, or readings coming in lower than expected, so a little bit better than expected. Yeah, I agree. Like, usually when we crash, I'm buying up stuff. Or at least pulling back big. Problem is that most you got a lot of people telling you we're gonna drop faster and more. Don't buy, you're dumb. Don't buy. They're almost always wrong. But Yeah, chat. Let me see. All right, so we get SPY still dipping, Nvidia still dipping. Gold bouncing back up a little bit here. AMD trying to hold too. I'm not on Tradeovate right now, David. I'm on. I am trading using Rhythmic. And again, I love Rhythmic, man. A lot of people use Tradeovate. I like Rhythmic much more. We're gonna pull up Rhythmic now. But I can trade, but I'm on Rhythmic, so I'm not on Tradeovate. Tradeovate's having wide issues right now, though, David. So they're having a bunch of issues. Gold still consolidating at 2300s. Yeah, we're gonna pull this up here. Let this get rolling. We're gonna try to day trade a little bit. We haven't really traded much today. I thought we might have low liquidity today. So I thought we might have lower liquidity today, but maybe not. Rhythmic's not having problems, right? I know Tradeovate's having kind of some platform-wide issues, but let's try to roll here. I'm pretty sure not, David. I'm pretty sure you can't switch once you sign up. Yeah, most stuff's green right now. All right, so here is my NASDAQ account. What am my account at right now? So we are breaking down a little bit on the NASDAQ here. Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting to see if Nvidia breaks 1,000. I think Nvidia could break a K. Yeah, I'm not really worried about a big correction. I could probably add and buy up more if we do correct. So again, we do have ISM ISM. Yeah, so manufacturing data coming out today. Manufacturing data is interesting. Because, you know, this is one of the smaller releases. Tomorrow we have the JOLTS report, which is really big, too. So tomorrow we have JOLTS. right. So yeah, we got manufacturing data live. Nvidia is pumping up. We'll see if that continues to look good. We do have Tesla delivery numbers tomorrow. That might be fun to watch. Alright, so yeah, we got ISM data. We are bouncing up a little bit. Part of me wants to short this. I guess we'll short a little bit. We're at the top of the range. We'll just play with it. This is our first trade today. So we're going to take small scale and trade. See if we could... See, Nvidia did bounce right at 906, right at that previous closing price level, though. I don't know how I feel about that. Let's take... Alright, so we got 3 contracts. We'll try to get maybe a little bit more. I wanted a little bit more here. I'll add a little bit more. There we go. There's 4 contracts. Take a little bit more off here. Glide it out. See if we drop some more. And we'll cut the rest out there. So we just probably made 25 bucks or so. We try to build up a small cushion on the day. Yeah, about that. So we got a little cushion. Our trade was correct. We ended up retracing up pretty fast though. Yeah, I'm checking out social media. Alright, so we're back up. Part of me wants to short this again, but it depends on what Nvidia does. I see gold moving up. If Nvidia continues to bounce up over the 200 EMA VWAP level, we'll see. You know, we're going to look at this support and resistance level here. See if it holds. If we make a larger rebound back up, maybe we'll short into that. But... Alright, so yeah, we did get the big bounce back. I'm glad I didn't take that short. As we bounce back a little bit higher, though, we will start to short into this more. We've got a little cushion on the day now, so we can add maybe another 3 or 4 contracts here. We got 4 now. We're right around flat. The longer this takes, though, the more I'm likely to get out of this. This is taking too long, I think. I'm gonna cut half. So we cut half, and it looks like it was the right move. Yeah, we're gonna get out. It was taking too long. Sometimes if it takes a long time, you're not gonna get that big rejection you want, and it's actually more probable to go the other way. That's how we're able to kind of identify that and say, hey, this is taking too long. Now maybe we reject here. We'll try to maybe look at another one. Now we're getting close to that level. What's the E-mini look like? It kind of looks the same. Let's see what Nvidia does. Nvidia right at 906 though right now. All right, so we did get a little pullback. Yeah, I think Bitcoin is the future. I think the way they designed that was really smart, you know. All right, so we're bouncing up a little bit. Again, if we get a little higher, I might start shorting. But again, we'd have to get a little bit higher up. So I'm trying to be patient. All right, so again, there's another pop up here. We might start to want to short. I don't know yet, though. All right, let's see if we can correct. You guys traded right now. We got 45 minutes until the opening bell. We got ISM PMI coming out. All right, so now we've moved up a little bit. Again, I'm starting to, like, my trading strategies a lot of the time are just trend based. Like, we're downward trending. We're starting to rebound back a lot. So I just kind of want to short. I'd like to see at least some type of confirmation first, maybe, you know. All right, there's a turnaround. Let's see if we continue down. Maybe I should have taken the short already, but we'll wait. Why trust a fake coin? I mean, what's fake about it, though? You know, like, again, I think a lot of people don't understand, you know, and a lot of people think, like, oh, well, it's digital money. Why should we trust it? You have to understand most money is digital money at this point in time, guys. Like, most money is digital money. You know, physical money is starting to become very obsolete. Almost nobody uses it. Nobody uses cash anymore. So physical money is certainly becoming less and less used, and I think that's very obvious. And I think Bitcoin is a DeFi, like a independent form of that, and I would rather it be in DeFi than I'd rather it be DeFi and than in the hands of banks. To be honest, I'd rather it be separated from banks if we can. You know, I trust that money more. Yeah, banks don't really hold that much money. That's my point. And like the other part about it is that, okay, like Bitcoin keeps up with inflation for the most part. You know, like it's a funny cycle. We talked about this on our crypto show. It's a very funny cycle. You know what I mean is, like, what's funny about it is that, you know, we've been talking about Bitcoin. I have a crypto channel. Like, we've been talking about Bitcoin, and you get these people who just hate Bitcoin. They don't really understand what they're rooting against. But basically, you get these people that hate Bitcoin, and they make fun of people and they mock people. When Bitcoin dropped down to 15K, all you ever heard was like mocking and people making fun of it. Now Bitcoin just broke 70,000, and it's just kind of silence from them, you know. And again, most of it has to do with, like, they didn't profit from it, so they're, you know, they, because of that, they act like it's just not valid. But I think crypto is very smart. I think the mechanisms behind like blockchain is very smart. It's very, very smart. And I think it's the future. And I would, again, eventually you are going to have CBDCs. You are going to have central bank digital currencies. You are going to have banks' version of crypto, you know. And I would rather support Bitcoin and things like it than a CBDC and a bank's version of it, you know, because that, again, digital money is the future. It's inevitable, right? Like, we're going to have digital money. You know, and it doesn't mean whether you want it or don't want it, or whether you like it or dislike it. We're going to have it. And so you have to ask yourself, who do you trust more? The big banks or Bitcoin and independent forms of that? And I think I would much rather support independent forms of it, you know. People saying it's just air. Well, yeah, but so is most of the money in your bank account. You know, like it's all air. But there's a very famous saying, and it goes, market price is only what somebody's willing to pay for it. And right now, somebody's willing to pay $70,000 for a Bitcoin, despite what anybody thinks it is. And again, I think the obvious thing is like digital money is obviously the future, whether we want it to or not. You mean, you know, and the unfortunate part is that the anonymity is gone. Unfortunately, like we're not gonna have the anonymity of cash money anymore. Taking over for the 99 and the 2000s. But no, we're not gonna have the anonymity of cash anymore, unfortunately. But I think Bitcoin's gonna be much more anonymous than freaking your bank's version of it. All right, so we are getting a little pullback here. You know, we're scalping a little bit of this in the S&P 500. We're up some in the E-mini S&P. Same kind of strategy and idea here, which is just we got a 4 contract position here. We'll see if we break down some more. Cash is king. Well, maybe 20, 30 years ago it was. How to get people crazy talking about Bitcoin. Yeah. A lot of people just don't understand it, you know. You know, again, in the end, what you notice very much, people are very reluctant to change. Like in a lot of different ways. All right, so now we're flat. We took a little bit of profit on this. Gold bounced it up at the 200 EMA level. We still got 30 minutes before the market opens. Yeah, well, the whole week we have data coming out all week. So we have again, tomorrow we got JOLTS and Tesla delivery numbers. Wednesday we have non-farm employment, Powell speaking again, and a bunch of Fed speakers. Thursday we got jobless claims. Friday we have non-farm payrolls and unemployment data coming out. So basically every day this week is busy, including today. Today's not the busiest day. It's kind of one of the slower days of the week, but the rest of the week is very busy. Hey, what's up, Rich? Yeah, I'm trading the micro, so I'm not sure there, bro. We just took a little bit more off. Hold the rest. Just kind of building up small profits this morning. Got a little cushion though. MU up 1%. Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about MU lately. I don't know a ton about MU as a company, though. I mean, I know Micron, but relative to like AMD, I always looked at it as like the less liquid, less watched. But it's had a great year, to be honest. Alright, so we do have this little breakdown. We'll go ahead and take the rest off here. See, we got a nice little cushion. We've pretty good accuracy today. They do memory. Yeah, well, last week was a holiday week. This week's busier, for sure. And again, we are day trading on Apex right now. Apex has 24 hours left of their 80% off sale, where they give you 80% off packages. You know, if we look at Apex right now, again, they got about a day left. You can use my promo code BT Beginner Trade and get 80% off right now. Again, Rhythmic is working a lot better, I think, today. And again, Rhythmic, the base one is 25K. What they do is, this is a great, if you want to learn to day trade, again, do not put up thousands of dollars yourself. Trying to risk thousands of dollars, trying to day trade stocks, you're almost certainly going to lose thousands of dollars. Whatever you put up for your first account, you're probably going to lose it. That's just the reality of it. It makes way more sense to try a funded account program. And again, I'm biased. They pay me money. They're a sponsor of mine. I'm very transparent and honest about that. So I'm biased. But it genuinely is good for traders, in my opinion, who want to day trade. Don't put up thousands of dollars. It's much cheaper to get started this way. It still teaches you how to trade under pressure. And if you get funded, you get a 90% split. If you don't get funded, you're probably going to lose putting up real money anyway. And so this is limiting your risk drastically. Again, this one only costs about $35 if you use my link right now. $35. Use promo code BT. $35. If you they're going to give you a $25,000 demo, and they're going to test your skill. You can use 40 micro contracts or 4 regular contracts. That's plenty of size to use. You got to make $1,500 without losing $1,500. If you can do that, they fund you $25K, 90% split. You get to keep your first $25K in profit as well. And they've paid out over $100 million to their traders. They are one of the most legit funded account programs in the world. And again, the best part is that if you lose, you're only out like $35. It's not the end of the world. So it's limited risk, but if you pass it, you know, you got a lot of the rewards of putting the money up yourself, just less risk, in my opinion. But again, they're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased. This is futures. So again, you can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, currencies, gold, silver, stuff like that. And the patterns are very similar to blue chip stocks. There's just no PDT restriction. So if you want to check it out, again, they are a sponsor of mine. You know, you can see the link right there. Use promo code BT. It'll always get you the max discount. BT, Beginner Trading. So we should have kept shorting this here. I think we would have been okay. All right, chat. Remember, we got ISM manufacturing PMI data coming soon. So be ready for that. Gold's still moving up though. Nvidia is still pretty flat. It's still over the previous closing price, so Nvidia is technically green today, but it's not much green. And then again, the SPY 424 or 524.60s was the lifetime high. So the lifetime high is this big green line right here. We'll see if we could actually hit that or not. Gold, rip it up. Yeah. All right, chat. Nvidia will continue to be a casino for a few months. Maybe it will. I don't know. We'll see. I'm looking at some comment history of some people to see, like, and it seems like everything they're saying is a disagreement. I'm not gonna say who it is, but just understand you might get banned for life if all you do is disagree. I'm not saying nobody can disagree with me, right? Like, we generally allow healthy disagreements, but if everything you say is just waiting to disagree with me, you're probably gonna get banned. You know? Also, trolls are really out today in chat. Please don't troll too much. Coming from the top 3 greatest trader of all time in the world. Man, what's going on? The 50,000 Bitcoin offer in 2020, guys, or in 2015, somebody offered somebody 50,000 Bitcoin for a 2-bedroom apartment in New York. 50,000 Bitcoin. Let's calculate this. That would be $3.5 billion today. $3.5 billion. Crazy. Somebody made a bad deal. They turned it down. In 2015, they turned down a 2-bedroom apartment in New York. 50,000 Bitcoin offer. I wonder how mad they are today. Alright, so we got a little bounce. We're going to short this again. We already got a cushion on the day. We're going to add 4 contracts to this. Try to short. Maybe 6. We got a little cushion that we can play with. So Exercising freedom of speech is a good thing, so banning people they disagree with you, not good. Trolls, on the other hand, yeah. And again, I understand. All right, look, we're going to have to cut 2/3 of this position, and we'll sit on the last two, just because we're very green very quickly. Anyways, I typically agree. I believe people should be able to disagree with me, right? But you also have to understand the nature of some people. Like, some people are trolls that have been around for a long time. Like, what it really is deep down, they're kind of weird, and they're just kind of looking for things to disagree with. And so my rule is that it's okay if you disagree with me sometimes, right? Like, I'm okay with disagreeing, but if you're somebody that's just trying to kind of push buttons where you're not actually disagreeing to disagree, you're just doing it to be difficult, that's a different type of person, and that person will get banned, and you run into them sometimes too. I don't know what I want to do with this here. So we're already up. We got 22 minutes left until the market opens. We'll cut a little bit more. We should have held it, but that's all right. We'll cut this. All right, so yeah, we're up. We're almost up 100 on the day. If you disagree with everything, why are you here? Mostly because you know how it goes, man. Like, people get insecure for whatever reason. They get self-conscious, jealous, envious of whatever. And they get weird. Certainly happens. Gotta be a lot more trolls next year. You deal with them very well, though. Yeah. Yeah, so Reddit, still under 50 bucks. I don't know about Reddit as a stock, as a public company. Like, I know, like, the monetization is what troubles me regarding Reddit. Like, how well can they monetize themselves? And again, maybe y'all know more. I don't know a ton about Reddit as a company, so maybe y'all can educate me on how Reddit monetizes that business. I'm sure they have, like, premium users, donations, stuff like that. But outside of those two things, how do they monetize themselves? Those two things can't prop up the whole business, no? And again, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm genuinely asking. Like, how does Reddit monetize themselves? But yeah, the dude that offered 50,000 Bitcoin, 3.5 bill. Ah. Yeah, I mean, the other dude bought 2 Papa John pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin. It would have been over 400 million. You can't really knock him, though. This was in the early days. All right, so snow is still down. We got 20 minutes or so. I've made enough money. I don't think I've lost day trading today. Have I lost? I lost once, actually, now that I remember. I got out, and it ripped up. Outside of that one loss, I think I've been green on every other trade. We've got into like 5 or 6 trades. Powell said, sponsored ad every other post, it seems like, on Reddit. They provide data for training AI models to big companies like Google and OpenAI. Yeah. Acknowledge a troll for pushing buttons. The troll wins and push the right buttons. Yeah, but I guess it depends. Like, again, there's a lot of dead space on a streamer's YouTube channel sometimes. Like, I have to talk, and sometimes there's dead air, right? And so I always tell people the same thing. Like, I will lead into the trolls a little bit and just kind of gives me something to talk about, you know? Like, we can kind of talk and BS about nonsense, and, you know, it'll give the stream some talking points, you know? So really, they're helping me grow my channel. So maybe I shouldn't be so super upset with them. But, Benzinga said, if you suddenly became a billionaire, would you live a life of luxury or practice humility? Oh, I mean, I'm gonna live a life of luxury. A billion? Like, I could imagine having $1 billion and being like, hey, like, no, guys, like, let's not go eat fine dining. Let's go to McDonald's right now. Okay, let's be humble and go to McDonald's. Of course not. You know, maybe, I don't know, maybe it changes if you actually are a billionaire, but no. Beach house and some steak and I'm good. Hey, I love steak. I think when he was talking about humbleness, it's not like spending 1K for every dinner. I mean, 1K is obviously excessive for me. And I'm like a big eater, bro. Like, like, one of the things my family makes fun of me for is because when I buy food, I overbuy food. Like, I will get myself 3 meals, bring it home. I will, if I, especially if I'm sharing food with like a guest, like if I got a friend coming over and we're like, yo, we're gonna order some food, I'm getting so much food. My wife makes fun of me. My mom came over one time. I bought so much food. My mom's like, oh my gosh, dude, what are you doing? That's my kryptonite. That's where I struggle. I spend too much money on food. You know? But I don't eat McDonald's at all. Like, I refuse to eat McDonald's. I won't eat them. I used to love McDonald's breakfast, though. But, again, I just don't eat them anymore. I'm sorry, but spending more than $15 per person per meal is outrageous. Maybe if you, like, not if you're a billionaire, you know? Not even if you make over 100K a year. $1,500 for a meal is not crazy, you know? And again, you got to understand, like, the cheaper the food, the lower quality it is, you know? Like, cheap food's not good for you, you know? So, like, we can be cheap and, like, refuse to pay any significant amount of money for food ever, but you're going to get the lowest quality foods to eat, and it's not going to be necessarily good for you. All right, so there's the market breaking lows here. The NASDAQ cracked lows. Nvidia's still over the 200 EMA, or it's still under the 200 EMA, but over the previous closing price. So we'll see if it holds, chat. We got 14 minutes left. $100K in Louisiana is $30K in New York. Yeah, I mean, I understand. But again, we're talking about a $15 meal. So yeah, I would say that's even worse in New York. You try to spend $15 bucks on a meal in New York, I'm sure it's going to be much less of a meal than $15 for a meal in Louisiana. You know, you can get a couple pounds of crawfish for $15 in Louisiana. You know, I just left. Ever thought of migrating to Europe? Think it's through. Life is cheaper than in the U.S. Yeah, but I mean the macroeconomic situation in Europe is a little bit more unstable, to be honest. I'm not saying there's not good places to live over there, you know, but you know the good thing about the U.S. is that we're isolated for the most part. You know, but there's some places I would like to live, but there's also some places I wouldn't like to live, you know. Yeah, well, the crazy part about New York, I think, is the squatting laws are just the most ridiculous thing you could ever think of. Like, I couldn't imagine how anybody can justify those laws. Like, yo, you leave your home for 30 days, and somebody could just move in and say, yo, this is my place now. Like, what? Like, why would that ever be a law? Like, who designed that? Like, it's the most ridiculous thing ever. Like, I know where I'm not buying a house. It's freaking New York. They can romanticize New York all they want. I'm not buying a freaking house there, dude. Have some dude move in. I go to Florida for vacation. Some dude's moving into my house, bro. I'm good. You know, I'm gonna turn that down, sir. All right, but market's bouncing back up. We broke lows. All right, guys, we're bouncing back up a little bit. Nvidia testing that previous, or that, the previous closing price. So Nvidia's starting to crack down. This might drag the market back down. I'm going to short this, just because I see Nvidia breaking under that pretty big milestone level. Now, we've been pretty accurate with our trades this morning, but I don't want anybody to copy me, of course. Please don't copy me. I'm just shorting this because I see Nvidia falling fast under the previous closing price, and so I think we might be able to get, you know, a little scalp trade in here, and if not, we can cut it. We only got 3 contracts, so it's not the end of the world if it turns against us. Gold's pulling back a little bit as well. There we go. There we go. All right, there we go. We're out. We scalped it. Like I said, we just wanted to scalp it. We're in, we're out. Idea worked. Again, we did get some downward pressure. It took a little bit of a lag to get it, but we did get it. Alright, markets are still flushing down. We do have a nice little cushion on the day, though, now, so that's nice. NQ needs to pump. We got about 8.5 minutes chat. Again, we do have manufacturing PMI data at 9:45, 10 o'clock. All right, we're starting to bounce up a little bit now. Watch the SPY. So again, the SPY is still underneath the lifetime high. So I don't know if the SPY is going to break lifetime highs again today, like we thought it would earlier. You know, the SPY was over lifetime high levels earlier in the day, and so I don't know what's going on with this one now. But again, it doesn't look like it's going to break lifetime highs. Oh, I keep forgetting today is I keep thinking today is I keep seeing these posts. I forget today's April Fool's Day. All right, so we're bouncing back to this resistance level. I do kind of want to short this now, too. I don't know if I should, though. Again, don't copy me, guys. I have no idea what I'm talking about. All right, so we're right at that resistance level. Don't copy me. If you copy me and lose, it's your fault. All right, so we did reject a little bit. Again, by sure it would have worked. We got less than 5 minutes chat until the market opens. And they get it 15 minutes after the bell. We have regular S&P US Manufacturing PMI. And then we've got ISM Manufacturing PMI at 10. So we got stuff that's going to move the market 15 to 30 minutes after the open. All right, so we're still right at that resistance level. How do you know if there's news at 9:45 or 10 a.m.? I'm like the greatest of all time in the world right now, bro. You don't know? No, man, it's pretty well-known economic data coming out today, man. My channel mostly covers economic data. I know we're called beginner trading, and we do day trade, and we swing trade, and we invest, and we do all that stuff, but we mostly cover economic data. And so, you know, like today's a little slower, but you know, like an example is Powell. We had thousands of people here on Good Friday. When the market was freaking close, we had thousands of people here watching Jerome Powell on Friday. I didn't stream PCE data, but again, my point is like my channel covers economic reports. Like that's mostly what we've grown from. And that's why I would read, like that's the most fitting for me as a person anyway. We day trade, we invest, we swing trade, but yeah. GameStop here. What happened to GameStop? GameStop down. Yeah. The question is, what does GameStop's business model look like into the future? Good morning, just joined. Can you explain ISM's purpose and influence? So ISM Manufacturing PMI. ISM stands for the Institute of Supply Management. PMI data is the Purchasing Managers Index. Okay, what it really is, and it's expansion or strength in manufacturing versus weakness. Okay, so with ISM PMI, 50 is neutral. So 50 is neutral. They're expecting 48.1. 48.1 is what they're expecting. And so again, 50 is neutral. They're expecting 48.1. And so that's, but again, we do also have S&P US manufacturing PMI data as well. So we do have S&P manufacturing data also showing up today. Again, it's expected at 52.5. But again, the lower the number, the less strength in manufacturing. The higher the number, the more strength in manufacturing, and 50 is the neutral level. So again, there's the market pushing up. Now, market opens up in about a minute. About 1 minute left, chat. Will these reports make the market moves? Maybe a little bit. They're not huge reports. Like tomorrow we have the JOLTS report. That's a much bigger report. We have Tesla delivery numbers. That's a pretty big report. Wednesday we got Powell speaking. That's probably one of the biggest reports of this week. We also have non-farm employment at 8:15 Wednesday. That's a pretty big report. Friday are the biggest economic metrics like being released, which are unemployment data comes out Friday, and non-farm payroll data, like payrolls and unemployment, drop Friday at 8:30. Those are some of the biggest metrics that drop this week. We're going to stream it all live here, chat. But yeah, those are some of the biggest metrics that come out. So... All right, chat. There's the opening bell. Market is so far up a little bit in the 5 seconds we've had since the open. GameStop dipping down a little bit. Nvidia under the previous closing price, looking red, and that's tanking markets here. We're about to run into $900 though, so if we bounce at 900, maybe I'm gonna go ahead and take a bet and buy this here. One contract, really early trade for me, really early trade. But that worked out pretty well for me so far. Again, I thought Nvidia would bounce at 900, and it did. Milestone level bounce. And we're going to go to... So, yeah, we're up about $100 on the day. $15 minutes until U.S. manufacturing PMI data. And then we got ISM data at 10. Alright guys, we're dumping down a little bit. Again, Nvidia bounced right at that $900 level though. Alright, so again, there's Nvidia trying to bounce. Now we're getting rejections here. This looks weak now, so Nvidia rejected. I'm going to let things stabilize first, though. We're only 2 minutes after the open, so we're going to let things stabilize. Remember, though, in about 12 minutes, 13 minutes, we do have ISM, or we have U.S. manufacturing PMI coming out. Yeah, hey, Jay, listen, man. Just, listen, you can talk, but don't say 10 words and 5 messages, bro. Okay? Please, and thank you. Alright, so now we're bouncing back up. Nvidia just broke the 200 EMA, pushing a little bit. All right, so there's a move up. Look at Nvidia run up to 910s here. Again, SPY is under that 200 EMA level in the volume weighted average price level, but let's see if the SPY can get close to lifetime highs. I think it could. Also, we're gonna throw this in sub only mode, chat. So we are gonna throw this in sub only mode. All right, so a big move up. Look at this huge move. It's mostly from Nvidia. SPY looks a red to green move, but SPY's still underneath the VWAP here, so we'll see if that can hold. And so look at the S&P rip, NASDAQ ripping. Very big move here. Alright, so we are getting some bounces here, chat. Alright, yeah, running into some resistance levels, but it might not mean much, because again, we are seeing some strength. I'm looking at like Tesla as well here. Their Tesla's down pretty big today. Again, is Tesla anticipating bad delivery numbers, chat? Is that's possible. Apple's still bouncing off of 170s. Depends on whether you think Nvidia is going to bounce at this 200 EMA level. SPY over the VWAP. Man, just huge green candles for the NASDAQ. Like, they're so big, I'm not trying to really mess with them like that. Yeah, Nvidia up to 910s. Look how big these candles are. They're just too big for me to really want to mess with this on the long side now. They're up too much. I need a dip before I start buying these up, to be honest. Reddit's still dipping pretty hard to 47s as well. The S&P's bouncing up nicely too. Apple's moving up a little bit. Let's see Microsoft. Microsoft's flying up. AMD's ripping up. So this is mostly Microsoft pulling the market up. Meta's flying up too. Google. Whew, look at Google, man. Wow. Tech is flying. Nvidia's ripping back up too. Look at Nvidia at 912s. What do you think of Reddit now? Like I said, I didn't like Reddit before. I don't know how they're monetizing themselves. And yeah, they're down a couple bucks at the open. Again, we've had nothing but green candles since the opening bell for the NASDAQ here. No red candles yet. Making me really hesitant to buy up anything just based off of this pure extension that we have at the opening bell. I'm nervous about buying up anything because I think we could correct as soon as I buy it. So Nvidia up to 915s though, so Nvidia's starting to, heat up a little bit. SPY is testing the VWAP here, and it looks like it's starting to dip down some now, though. Sad all this going up. My portfolio is red. So if the numbers come in lower on the report, is that bad? It's nuanced. It doesn't always mean that necessarily. It means weakness in manufacturing. The lower the numbers come in, the more weak manufacturing is, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean bad. Sometimes lesser manufacturing numbers can be good for inflation and vice versa. So it just depends on how you look at it. But it could mean bad. It could mean good, though. We'll see. PMI data is less of a predictable reaction. to be honest. Like, it might move markets, but predicting the reaction based off of what the number might show up as is much more difficult than something like CPI, where lower is almost always better and higher is almost always worse, you know. Very strong markets at the opening bell. A lot of stuff just churning up today. Big moves. Honestly, my portfolio is kind of red too. Like, we're red on my portfolio on the day as well. All right, chat. We have about 7 minutes left until S&P manufacturing PMI data, and then we got about 22 minutes left until ISM PMI data. But again, we haven't had one red candle in the Nasdaq. I'm not really buying up anything. Nvidia is almost up to 920s. The SPY is still moving up as well. Again, the lifetime high on the SPY is this green line. So again, we're going to take gold off for a second, and we're just going to put these two charts up. This green line right here is the lifetime high in the SPY. So if the SPY breaks this, it's the lifetime high break. Same thing, let me see the SPX. SPX's lifetime high is 5264.80s. We're at 5261, almost 5262. So I guess the point is the S&P 500 might break lifetime highs. I'll let you guys know if it gets close. Again, Nvidia over 920s now. Still churning up. SPY over the VWAP. Again, we haven't had any red candles yet. So for me personally, I've already made about $100 day trading pre-market. I'm slowing down right now until we have some type of reasonable pullback. I just don't like this move. It's too strong. Too likely of a pullback, I think, incoming. But I might be wrong there. Who knows? Yeah, Nvidia over 920s. But it's not just Nvidia, though. A lot of it is like tech in general. Like, look at Microsoft. Microsoft finally dipping down a little bit. Meta ripping up for Meta. Meta ripping up. Amazon now finally dipping down. But a lot of this is tech. Like, tech flew this morning. AMD up there big, too. So, a lot of this is tech. And we're still moving. I'm sorry to hear that, Kareem. Bitcoin red today. Yeah, it's at 70,000+. Still, I mean, it's slightly red. It's not super negative. Again, the S&P 500 is getting closer to the lifetime highs, chat. They're getting closer and closer. S&P 500 is at 5263. Lifetime highs at 5264s for the S&P. So it's getting up there. Now, it's starting to reject a little bit, though. And again, Nvidia might drag this down. I'm not sure. But look at those freaking green steep candles here. Again, I'm not really messing with this. This is too high up for me personally. I'm going to wait. I'm too worried about a rejection. Yeah, Chase, it could be a reaction to Powell PCE data from Friday. Yes, it could be. You know, markets were closed, but Powell was very optimistic and dovish. PCE data was at or lower than expected. So those are optimistic things for the economy. Could be that. All right, we got our first little red candle playing around here. Data's supposed to come out in about a little bit less than 4 minutes. Again, hit the like button next to the play button, subscribe, chat. We cover all the big economic reports live on this channel. All right, Nvidia, a couple red candles now bouncing back some. SPY still moving up. Again, lifetime highs on the SPY are at this green level here, so S&P 500 is getting close. SPY's getting close. Nvidia's strong. So if this data comes in good, it could pop us over lifetime highs. If the data comes in bad, obviously it could reject those high levels, and you know we might not see another test of it. But again, the smaller report is in about 3 minutes, right? The regular S&P manufacturing PMI data is in 3 minutes. This is a smaller report. The ISM PMI data is a little bit larger. They're both influential, but the 10 a.m. report is probably going to move a little bit more in the markets relative to this upcoming one that's in about 2.5 minutes. But they both are relevant enough to cause some volatility. All right, chat. 2 minutes. 2 minutes on the dot left. We'll see what happens. Give me your last minute predictions. Again, the expected number for S&P Manufacturing PMI is 52.5. Last time it was actually the same at 52.5, and this is the March reading for S&P Manufacturing PMI. 52.5, slight expanding manufacturing sector in the U.S. in March is what they're expecting. We'll see if we hit it. All right, now we're starting to get a dip. Here we go, guys. 1.5 minutes left for this first report, and then we got another one at 10. Nvidia still looks strong. I want to buy this, but it's too close to this report. We got 1 minute left. This looks like a nice little dip. We got a down wick. We got a pullback. Nvidia's bouncing at 915s. All of that stuff looks optimistic, but again, please don't copy me. I'm not taking it personally, and I don't want anybody to copy me or do anything. We got less than 1 minute left now, or about 1 minute left. And so, there's Nvidia bouncing. And see, that's such a strong move for Nvidia prior to this report as well, that I really want to buy this up. We got 10 seconds. Let's see if we can make some money in 10 seconds with 2 contracts. $30 seconds. Chat, 30 seconds. Don't do it to me. Yeah, bad decision on my end. Yeah, I'm just going to cut it. It might rip back up. Again, we lost 10, 15 bucks. It's all good. I just don't trust it. What's up, Kimberly? What's up, Corey? What's up, 4Nation? All right, chat, here we go. 10 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. But here we go. Here's the data. 48.5 is roughly what's expected. Or no, I'm sorry, 52.5. And here's the report. 51.9, chat. 51.9. Lower than expected manufacturing PMI. Lower than expected. 51.9. Chat, 51.9. And again, hit that subscribe button. We cover this data very quickly. Very quickly. Yeah, 51.9 versus 52.5. Lower than expected manufacturing PMI data. And again, so far the market's reacted positively to this. And we still have 15 minutes before the other report comes out. But 51.9 is what this report showed. All right, so here's that report right here. Yeah, we cover it quickly, chat. So hit that sub button, hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. S&P 500 is moving close to lifetime highs. Nvidia is about to break highs as well. I guess we'll play with this. You know, like we've already made some money. And I think sometimes high of the day levels can be like a magnet. So we could probably scalp a little bit of this move up. Dip into this. We got a nice cushion, so we can take some risks. We got 3 contracts here. We're so close to the lifetime highs, though. I would assume the S&P would try to rip up and break it. 2 contracts left. All right, we'll hold 1 left. All right, so we're up. I mean, here's our P&L on the day. We're doing pretty good. 4-to-1 win-loss ratio. But the S&P 500 is looking like it's struggling a little bit at these highs, which is why we ended up cutting it quickly there in the green. We still have a couple minutes left before ISM PMI data. But a little bit low for... Again, we do have ISM PMI data coming out soon. All right, so sideways action here. We've mostly moved on sideways. Maybe the market's waiting for the S&P data to come out. We got a good little day here. And again, we are trading on Apex funded account programs. This is a $50,000 funded account that we're trading on. And again, it's just a lot cheaper to try a funded account program than it is to put up the money yourself. Again, every day trader thinks they're going to be some type of outlier. They're going to be different. They're somehow going to, get rich trading the market in their first year. Most day traders lose money, and it's all about learning how to trade and have risk management under pressure. What these funded account programs teach you is how to do that with less risk, in my opinion. Now, they're a sponsor of mine. Apex is a sponsor of mine. They pay me money. I'm biased in their favor because they pay me money. I'm always honest and transparent about that. But again, the useful part is that it limits your risk. There's no PDT rule in futures. Instead of putting up thousands of dollars yourself as a trader, if you want to learn to day trade, you can instead try these funded account programs. The base one is $35 if you use my link. And you got to use coupon code BT, Beginner Trading. It'll get you the discount, the max discount at all times. If you use my link, it's $35. They're going to give you a $25,000 demo and give you a profit target and a max loss. And if you can hit that profit target without hitting that max loss first and following their rules, they fund you the same amount, $25K with a 90% split. You get to keep your first $25K in profit as well, and they pay out millions of dollars to their traders. They're one of the most legit in the world. They paid out over $100 million to their traders. And again, the best part, and again, I think most day traders lose. So I think most day traders will lose this as well because most day traders lose. I'm very honest about that. Again, they're a sponsor of mine, but it's a lot cheaper to lose an Apex account and test that than to put up $2,000, $3,000. And most day traders are going to lose that as well. And so it just makes more sense despite, some people hate on funded account programs because they just lose. And again, they're going to lose if they put the money up themselves as well. They're just limiting their risk with these. And so again, if you want to check it out, here's the link. Great way to help support the channel. Corey, are you talking about a specific trader, man? Yeah, gold falling. Let me see. All right, chat. We got less than 10 minutes here. AMD still flying up. Again, I don't know if the S&P is going to hit the lifetime highs now. Again, ISM PMI data expected now, chat, at 48.1. 48.1, I think, is what they're expecting. Let me make sure. Yeah, ISM expected at anywhere between 48.1 and 48.5. Last time we came in at 47.8. So we are expecting a slight bump up in manufacturing, but we're still under 50. So we're still contracting manufacturing sector. It seemed like the market almost liked lesser manufacturing data. Maybe inflation fears causing the market to react that way. Again, Nvidia is still at 920, 919s. Again, we got 8 minutes left, chat. We'll put a timer up. We might go sideways until this report drops. I think the whole market might want this report to come out, so. Yeah, gold dumping down to 2260s. AMD testing highs, though. Again, we do have what I think a lot of people would call a flag pattern here on this chart, but looks like a flag to me. But again, it doesn't mean anything. I think it's probably just consolidation because the economic data is about to come out. And so if economic data comes out bad, we can drop. I'm not saying we're going to drop. It depends on what the market interprets the data like, but anybody watch the Chris Weidman fight? I wasn't able to watch it. All right, so we are sideways here. 7.5 minutes or 6.5 minutes left, chat. Do you think Nvidia will drop by the end of the day? I really don't know. That's the type of short-term price action that nobody knows. Anybody that claims to know that is just full of crap. They're just feeding you nonsense. Nobody knows what Nvidia is going to do short-term. Nobody knows what anything's going to do short-term outside of like insider information. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Like, nobody knows what's going to happen short-term. People can claim they do. Nobody freaking knows. All right, chat, 5 minutes. Yeah, cocoa prices. I've never traded cocoa. What's the price? Can you trade cocoa futures? All right, chat, less than 5 minutes. All right, chat. So we are now testing the high on the Nasdaq. The SPY back over the VWAP here. The S&P 500 moving closer to the lifetime high level. Gold still breaking down. AMD still right around the highs. All right, guys. 3 minutes left. All right, we're testing the top of the range. Again, it confirms my thesis on most people are just waiting for this economic data to come out. All right, Chad, here we go. 2 minutes left. Bullish action ahead of it, but still in that sideways range. All right, chat, less than a minute. Who says that? David. Yeah, they're just trying to get you to join, brother. All right, guys, we got a minute and a half. That's all they're trying to do. They just want you to join. That's all it really is, dude. They just want you to join. They're going to say they got some super secret insider information and that you can find financial freedom if you just buy their course or their trading, you know, whatever. It's total nonsense, man. Again, you can find most stuff available for free online. You don't need that. All right, here we go, chat. ISM data, 48.5 is what's expected. All right, guys, 40 seconds. Super micro, rip it up, Sue. All right, chat. Again, here we go. 30 seconds, chat, 30 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. All right, now we're pulling back. 20 seconds. Ten seconds. All right, here we go, chat. And here's the report. Okay, guys, ISM manufacturing came in higher than expected, 50.3. Chat, 50.3 versus 48.5. 50.3 versus 48.5. Prices came in higher than expected as well. Construction spending came in lower than expected. ISM prices came in higher than expected. It depends on what you think the market wants. But again, ISM PMI came out higher than expected universally. Prices came in higher than expected. Regular ISM PMI data came in at 50.3 versus 48.5 expected, or 48.4, whichever one you had. But again, here's the data. We'll put this up on screen. Again, higher than expected all the way around. Here's the report. Yeah, but BM, that just sounds like you bought one, bro, and you're trying to justify it. Like, most of the content, even in those courses, are from that you can find available for free somewhere out there. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars on a course. Maybe some of the cheap ones are okay, but you know, you got people promising financial freedom for $4,000. You could be their mentorship or be their mentor. It's just nonsense, bro. But anyways, here's the data release, guys. Again, higher than expected, chat. Higher than expected. We'll see if the market holds. Nvidia is still trying to bounce at that VWAP level, that volume weighted average price spot. And again, if you haven't already, check out Apex. We are already up over $100 on Apex today, day trading in futures. And in the futures market, again, a lot of people don't realize what futures are. In futures, you can day trade the S&P, you can day trade the NASDAQ, you can day trade currencies, you can day trade gold. You can day trade a lot of these things, and the patterns move very similar to blue chip stocks. Like, it looks a lot like Nvidia, Tesla. Look at Nvidia right now, and then look at the NASDAQ on the top, on the left side. Look at Nvidia on the bottom right, and then look at the NASDAQ on the left side. They look very similar, but you can day trade, buy market, sell market, very similar to day trading stocks in futures. No PDT rule. And again, these funded account programs are the best way to test your skill and limit and learn to trade futures with limited risk. The base one's $25K. They give you a $25K demo. If you can pass the test, make $1,500 without losing $1,500 and following their rules, they fund you $25K with a 90% split, and they paid out millions. They paid out over $100 million to their traders. They're one of the most legit ones in the world. And again, I think most day traders are going to lose this, because most day traders lose. It doesn't matter whether they're on TOS or Apex. Most day traders lose. It's a lot cheaper to lose this, though. You still learn how to trade under pressure, learn how to deal with pressure in trading. And again, here's the link if you want to check it out. They are a sponsor of mine. I'm biased. They pay me money, so I'm certainly biased in their favor. But remember, if you want to check them out, use promo code BT, Beginner Trading BT. There's the link. Remember, guys, tomorrow we got jolts. We've got a lot of stuff. Market's finally dipping down a little bit today. So look at this pullback here in markets, chat. Market's dipping. We'll see what that means. But we are pulling back pretty fast here on this manufacturing data. Is the music fitting? Also, guys, check out one of my other sponsors. It's a company called Chart Prime. It's a trading view service you can use in stocks, crypto, forex, futures, anything with a symbol on TradingView. You can use this on. And again, I'm going to preface this with like, yo, I can't guarantee you're going to make money. Nobody can. You know, nobody's going to be able to guarantee you're always going to be able to make money. But again, I always try to back test it live before I even look at it, just so people can see how powerful it can be. Like, look at this, chat. Look at the buy signal here. Beautiful bounce. Strong sell signal there. Beautiful drop. This one was probably wrong. This one, beautiful breakdown afterwards. This one, beautiful rip up afterwards. This one, beautiful breakdown afterwards. This one, nice rip up. This one, nice rip down. Look at the strong signal way back here. Huge bounce. So again, we can tally all these up. I just back tested this live. I can't guarantee you're going to make money. Again, one didn't work out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 out of 9 didn't work. Genuinely impressive. I was always skeptical of these companies. Genuinely impressive. Again, I can't guarantee you're going to make money, and this is just a small piece. It's like $40 a month. One good trade can pay for yourself, and they have oscillators, backtesters, screeners, market dynamics, all that good stuff. Just custom trading view indicators is all this is, and some of them are powerful, I think, in my opinion. But again, test them yourself, backtest it all yourself. Again, you can check out the link in the description if you want more info on Chart Prime. You can get 40% off if you use my link in the description. Check it out, and yeah, y'all be safe, y'all be good. I'll see you guys a little bit later. We get chat. Remember, tomorrow here, chat. Tomorrow we've got the JOLTS report. The JOLTS report tomorrow. The biggest report. We also have Tesla delivery numbers tomorrow morning. A huge release here. So again, the JOLTS report, Tesla delivery numbers tomorrow. Wednesday, we have Powell speaking again. We got Powell speaking again Wednesday. We also have non-farm employment data and a bunch of other Fed speakers. Thursday, we got jobless claims. Friday, we have unemployment and non-farm payroll data. We got a busy week this week. Every day's freaking packed. Y'all be ready. Y'all be good. Love you all. Remember, not an investment professional. Not liable if you lose. Be smart. Be safe. I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good.